can handle stress when the lion, chases the zebra and the zebra runs away and produces all the adrenaline, cortisol, and has, all the apparatus to run from the predator. And after that, if you zoom in into the zebra, with the camera, you see the zebra shaking off all those hormones that were produced to run, to fight, or to pretend you're dead, because the predator does not eat that animal. So that's the third state. So hypnosis is absolutely amazing in taking you out of this. And how is that important for you?
Could it be the cure?
I'm telling you, it is the cure.
It is the cure. Oh my God. Welcome to Blue Pro Podcast. Today we are going to interview Fernanda Cavalari. If you have any fascination, just as me, for hypnosis, she's a Chinese doctor. She's here all the way from Australia. And welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I've always had this fascination for hypnosis. But before we dive into the subject, I'd like to know you better. I mean, how are you? Who are you?
Well, I am a Chinese medicine practitioner, which is like a general practitioner, but we use the Chinese medicine, all the diagnosis, all the treatments, all the specific medicines. Of course, acupuncture is one of the tools we use. But I'm also a psychotherapist or counselor, and I am a hypnotherapist. So the hypnosis, that's the tool that I use the most with people. So my training is done in a few different countries, but mostly in Australia, China, Canada, US. And the hypnosis came about with my own personal journey, my health challenge. Yeah.
Okay, a year ago maybe, and you told me you were like a Chinese doctor. And I say, wow, oh my God, what it is? What is a Chinese doctor? And what is that different from a conventional doctor?
Very different. So if you come to me with a skin problem, I don't look only at your skin. It's an integrative medicine, but it's different from the integrative medicine that doctors practice nowadays. But the way I see your body, like I would see the brightness in your eyes, I would see your demeanor, your tone of voice, different colors in your skin, the shine of your hair, or the brittleness of your hair, how you walk. It's like your, like energy. Energy is very broad, yeah? But, when you look at you, like some people would shine and some other people would shrink. So that is also accountable as a diagnosis.
Okay.
And we use the pulse. We have 3 positions on the pulse. We are not looking for the heartbeat, but different qualities on the pulse. So here I can check.
You can do it now.
Here I can check, specific organs. It's more like this.
Is it the right arm?
Both arms.
Is it like the chi energy or something?
As well, but we have about, so many pulses. I think like 28 different pulses. So I see how
my God.
How your artery is under my finger. So they have different qualities, like tightness, if there is sluggish, if there lack of energy. So irregular energy. It's not the irregular pulse, but it's like an irregular energy. Not to mention that
Am I dying?
You're so well alive.
Slowly, but not today.
Not today. One day.
Yeah.
And we look at the tongue of the person as well. Yeah.
The way we put it out?
It's in a relaxed way. Yeah, you just put your tongue in a relaxed way.
It's better to another moment, right?
Yeah.
To show my son zero.
Too much to the camera.
But today. So how did you find the motivation to become a Chinese doctor?
Oh, a long time ago, yeah. So when I was about 18 or 19, I developed this all over body itch. You don't see anything on my skin. I never get any rash. But the itch is so intense that a while back, before I started this journey, a few years back, I had a couple of weeks.
How old were you?
When it started?
Yeah.
18, 19. Yeah.
Wow. So you feel it like all the time? You just when you're sleeping, or
No, I feel all the time, but it gets worse with vibration trepidation. So I used to do mountain biking, so that vibration started
like with the movement. It was not emotional or something.
with the vibration. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So you used to do mountain bike.
yeah, a lot.
So you not do anymore.
Now I had to stop because of the itch.
Okay.
Yeah, and I used to love it. So with that journey, you go to so many doctors, you do so many tests, and nobody knows, nobody has a clue, a single clue of what you have. Yeah, and it's a big impediment in your life because I love exercise. So anything that involves running out. So I had to be just doing the gym, really, because there was no vibration. So
Like in going outside, like outdoor activities, it would
no, some days I
possible for
could.
you.
Some days I could not walk.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So when you go to so many doctors, nobody has a clue. You start wondering, is this psychological?
Yeah, I would ask myself that.
Yeah. And then you explore the psychology. Hence, I became, a counselor as well. But then you go back into maybe there is something more in the technique, Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, yeah, herbs. So I had a amazing doctor back in Brazil.
Okay.
He was a medical doctor and also an acupuncturist.
Are you from Brasilia?
Yeah, I'm from Brasilia.
Okay.
And I had a great experience because when I did cycling, my knee was hurting. So I went to him and, 10 sessions, I was really, really well. So that came back into my mind. Well, maybe I'll do Chinese medicine. Yeah. And explore this. And I was having consultations with professionals already on the field. And I had the desire to go because I had a little improvement, but nothing substantial whatsoever. But so that's how I had the idea to do the Chinese medicine that also involves a lot of your emotions. Yeah, I remember the first class. I did that back in Australia at university called UTS, University of Technology, Sydney.
So it's, I want to know more about the course. I know that there's a bachelor degree.
Yeah.
But before that, tell us about your emotion.
With the Chinese medicine.
In the first class?
In the first class. It was amazing.
Was it the very first day?
The very first class of the entire course.
So how was it?
It's mind-blowing. The teacher starts saying, sadness affects your lungs, fear affects your kidneys, and extreme joy or affects your heart, and so on and so forth, yeah? A lot of emotions affect your intestines, your stomach, yeah? And that was the beginning of this magic because I was always fascinated about the mind. I guess everybody experiences.
So you had your mind blown on the very first day, so you fell in love. Is that right?
Yeah, I was already very into it. I was already practicing like acupuncture myself. I had a little mentor.
Okay.
So when I started, I was already.
Who was he or she?
So I worked with this medical doctor in Australia, he's an integrative doctor as well. So he's an acupuncturist, and
Okay.
we became very close friends.
What's his name?
Dr. Richard Moore.
Dr. Richard Moore.
Yeah. He's an osteopath as well. So in osteopathy has a lot to do with organs and subtle energies and subtle movement of the joints and feeling the body through very tiny perceptions on your...
So that's how you practice the acupuncture, because there are
I started.
those points.
Yeah, he taught me, and so I was practicing only on myself, of course.
Is it true that you can kill someone if you hit the wrong?
Of course. Of course.
How is that?
Well, actually, that happened in Australia. Someone got killed because you have coins all around your torso, front and back. So We have points here very close to the heart, so the acupuncturist put the needle too deep. So the patient started complaining about the pain, and the person put a second needle, and that's when the patient died.
Okay.
Or you can perforate the lungs, yeah. But the heart is
So it's really a physical trauma.
yeah, just from the
Okay.
of the needle, yeah.
Okay, because we see those Chinese movies like in Kung Fu, like Kill Bill, and someone like there's this character that they make some movements with the finger in the heart, and then the guy they try to walk 5 steps, and then he just falls.
Yeah, but that's the manipulation of chi energy.
Yeah, and then it's Hollywood, right?
I've seen some things, but I never saw with my eyes. And I've had other colleagues of mine experience, like people putting needles and just waving the hand, and they really feel something really strong. And I haven't experienced that, so I cannot comment on that.
I've seen that, like, but only on Netflix. There's this TV show about I don't remember now. It's about sex. I think it's Sex and Juice and Sex with a very famous actress. She is in the Iron Man movie. She's in the MCU, like the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
And she makes like the whole TV show about sex. And then there's this patients. So every single one of them, they go to a different practitioner. So one goes to a psychotherapist, the other go to a hypnotherapist, the other one go to a physiotherapist or a conventional doctor, and so it goes on. And there's this couple that they treat patients only by the energy of their hands, and it's really, really incredible. Like, I mean, I believe that, right? But I think that would be some taboo for some people.
Yeah.
Some might not believe it because they don't touch.
Yeah, it's Reiki energy, right? The Reiki treatment, they work like that.
Is it into your practice?
No, that's
You don't practice Reiki? Okay, something.
No, even in the acupuncture itself, you have different styles. Japanese are very energy driven. They're very shallow insertions, and they use a lot of the energy feeling when they choose the points. The Chinese medicine, the acupuncture, it's more hardcore, which I don't really practice that hard. But when you go to China and you see, like, they're going to go through the other side of the body, like they put really deep insertions, yeah? Even though we went through the whole anatomy, I think it's not necessary to be that intense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I was going to ask you more about the Dr. Richard Moore.
Richard Moore?
So tell me more about him. How did you meet him?
I was dating someone, and this person, I think, was his business partner. And I was already in the journey of investigating the mind more.
Were you a student back then?
No, I was already a permanent resident in Australia, and was not studying Chinese medicine. No, he was the one that when it came to the time of changing areas, because I come from the business world, so I had quite a lot of experience on that area. I have a bachelor degree in business. So I was already so taken and fascinated by the mind, how the mind affects the body. And I just wanted to study human behavior back then. But he was the one saying, maybe you can combine both, because you're going to have a lot more reputation by having a proper degree in a health area combined with your hypnosis and counseling. And he was so right. And, you know, I was already like 40 years old or something back then. And I said, my gosh, a 4-year degree, and it's 5 days a week, every day there, all day. Like, you were there 40 hours or plus every week for 4 years like that. So he put in perspective, what is 4 years? What if you live another 40 or 50 years? Like, where do I sign up?
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to work together?
Yeah. We still work for quite a few years, and I work with so many other doctors. So currently I'm working with Dr. Charlie Teo. He's a neurosurgeon, very, very famous worldwide. With psychiatrists, several GPs, general practitioners,
Okay.
and some other integrative doctors. So that has always been my journey, and I've learned a lot from them.
Well, as far as I can see, it sounds like in Australia, your profession, the Chinese medicine, is more. They have more value than in Brazil, or maybe I'm wrong, or it's just something outside my bubble.
I think there is more because I'm a proper, like, practitioner means kind of doctor. Yeah, and it's just
You are. I mean, you have different ways of diagnosing things,
Yeah.
and you treat as well.
yeah. I cannot prescribe the same medicine that regular allopathic doctors do, but we are doctors. You come to me with heartburn, heart pain, constipation, loose stools, anxiety, skin problems, eye visions problems, bad breath, whatever, just like you would go to any GP, any general practitioner. You can go to a Chinese medicine doctor, and we treat you.
Yeah, and you also told me, I can remember that you told me that some doctors, the regular doctors, they would send you patients because they noticed that you could treat them better, maybe. Because that's the word.
Look, everything has its efficacy. If you come to me with a broken bone, I'll send you to ER, emergency room, of course, yeah. But the amazing things I think about, the skills that I have, I combine the physical, biological dysfunctions with your mind. So if you come to me with anxiety that Chinese medicine is absolutely able to treat, I would not only look at you in the Chinese medicine eye, but I would look at you with, behavior-wise, what's going on in your life, yeah? It's not always just emotional or just physical. So I have this ability, this set of skills that this is very much psychological. Let's go on this road here. Yeah, but if you come to me, for example, with depression, I will absolutely check a lot of your blood tests because a lot of mineral and vitamin deficiencies will lead to a depression. Now, it's not only the emotional side and behavior side. I will check that, and I'll check how you're living your life, how you're seeing life. And I think this combination is brilliant because sometimes the person is really, really depleted in nutrients in their body, or they have a genetic mutation. One very famous one is MTHFR. It's a very long name, but you basically cannot methylate a few vitamins and minerals, and then you don't have the building blocks to produce neurotransmitters that
will make you feel well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and about 80, I think it's worldwide, is 70 or so % of people have this gene mutation and different levels of this gene mutation.
Okay, so about that, was there a moment when you realized that what you're doing, a patient, or a moment that you realized that you having a great impact in people's life?
Yeah. And my eyes shine because it's with hypnosis. So
it was throughout hypnosis?
Right at the beginning, my very first patients, I was trained by mentorship initially, yeah. And because I had other training in human behavior, so I was able to practice that. So I started, and I saw all these people getting healing from the skin, healing from eye problems, 30-year-old back pain that it never went away.
Like chronic pain.
Very chronic pain. People getting better from adrenal fatigue. So the most amazing one. So I was able to see those people, and my fascination just went to the roof, right?
Okay.
But I always talk about this patient of mine, and I can mention her name because she allows me to, Christine. She was this tiny lady. She was so tired that she would look at me like she couldn't open her eyes. So much fatigue she had. But she was overweight, but she had rheumatoid arthritis where your joints get all deformed.
Almost like me. I don't have that, but I'm very fatigued. Oh my God.
You need more sleep.
3 hours a day, maybe.
What? Okay, you're...
Like Cavalari.
We treat you after.
Yeah.
But,
In a few minutes.
So Christine stayed with me about 2 years, and I did acupuncture as well, but we were treating other things, and she split up from her husband of 40 years of marriage, so she was quite depressed.
Oh my God, 40 years?
Yeah, married. But when it was on the 18-month mark, and we never mentioned about her deformed feet and was very crooked, like even if she tried to,
Okay.
put in the right place, it wouldn't go.
Okay.
And I was looking at her feet. I was like, I have to mention this now. I said, Christine, your toes are straightening up, aren't they? Oh, Fernanda, did you notice? Of course, right? And I wouldn't, even in the surgery, you couldn't get that fix on her toes, right? So sometimes
It was more about her soul.
I never ever had to mention her toes, and that's the beauty of...
I said her soul.
Yeah.
Like her spirit.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know what happened exactly, because the mind is a black box, but it's the alignment of your soul, if you want to talk in this way. Calming down your body, getting your body out of the fight or flight or freeze mode. And that hypnosis is amazing with that, yeah. Everybody is constantly on this state, and no animal body on this planet can handle stress for prolonged periods. We can handle stress when the lion, chases the zebra, and the zebra runs away and produces all the adrenaline, cortisol, and has, all the apparatus to run from the predator. And after that, if you zoom in into the zebra with the camera, you see the zebra shaking off all those hormones that were produced to run, to fight, or to pretend you're dead, because the predator does not eat that animal. So that's the third state. So hypnosis is absolutely amazing in taking you out of this. And how is that important for your soul, for your body as well? When you're in this state, what happens is your vision funnels, you lose this peripheral vision here, and that makes you more stressed. And when you're in this state, it's no time to check your emotions, because it's not important for the survival of the organism. It's no time to connect with your spirituality, because that does not save you.
Yeah.
You only go and do what you know 100% with 100% certainty that it's going to work. You don't start running.
Survive.
Yeah, so you don't start running from the predator and think, oh, let me see if I can fly. You don't do that. So, and
Let me pray, you don't do that either.
Right?
Yeah, you don't do that either, right?
So what happens, a lot of the ADHD, ADD comes from that obsession. You only do what you know for sure it's going to work.
You're telling me that to relax could be the cure?
I'm telling you, it is the cure.
It is the cure. Oh my God.
But we don't know how to get there. That's where I come in. You have point A, I'm here today, and I want to get here. And I do this bridge for you. Yeah, because like we were talking before, right? Outside of this. And it's not as simple as, but just relax. There are gains that you're not aware of that you will not relax. There you have gains, you have these benefits of why you do certain things. And that's why I'm coming to unpack that.
Yeah. Before we dive into hypnosis, I don't know if you are now in your car listening to this podcast, or if you're in your kitchen, or if you're taking care of some other job, but I think you should now take a chance to look to the YouTube, to the screen, and then see how she came so beautiful today. Yeah, what is she wearing, right? And now this is the perfect time to hit the click button to subscribe to the channel and then send some love for us. So, what is hypnosis? Is it a natural state of mind, or is it learned behavior, or something else?
Hypnosis is what we call, it's a technique, yeah, but it's when we say I'm going to do hypnosis, I'm going to go into a trance. And what is trance? Trance is when you alter your brainwave. So research shows that in one single minute you go into at least 7 different states of mind. So if I were to put in those electrodes in your brain and measure the EEG, I would see that you have a predominance of certain brainwaves. So right now we are for sure in beta brainwaves because we are thinking, we are discussing things. And if I say to you, Romulo, you're going to have a test after this conversation, your brain will pick up even higher brainwaves, yeah?
Maybe.
Yeah, it will. So you're like in beta brainwave.
I am this anxious.
It's good.
The cortisol goes like to the heaven.
Yeah. So hypnosis, it's a state that we...
Because I asked that, sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
It's because we have like, I'm a newbie, right? So
Yeah.
we have like the sleep state, we have like meditation state. Is it like, could I compare to that?
Not scientifically. So it is really
What does
measurable. Techniques are different and how you feel are different, but it's brainwaves. That's what we classify as you go into a trance. Yeah, when you watch TV, 15 to 20 seconds, your brainwaves go into alpha brain state. Yeah, alpha brain waves, which is a slightly slower brain waves, and you're more susceptible to suggestions.
Okay.
And the commercials and marketing utilizes that a lot. So you can make an experiment. You're having a little get-together in your house.
Okay.
Turn on the TV and see how many heads start turning. And they just keep looking.
Okay.
Because of that brainwave, yeah?
They become more susceptible to suggestion. So what I would ask something about that. Can hypnosis change someone's free will?
No.
Oh, okay. So that's I think that's a fear that
Yeah.
a lot of people have.
Yeah.
How can you explain that? I mean, defend yourself.
Yeah, I'll defend the whole profession. So those things that you see on TV, what we call hypnosis show, yeah,
Okay.
you want to participate. It's not like when there's a whole production into that. People that are more susceptible to go into a trance quicker, and they are more willing to participate. So they send a lot of people back to their chairs, and the ones left there, they just want to have fun and pretend they're a duck or they forgot their names. Yeah, it's a willingness. There is no such a thing as go there and obey my orders. You can relax totally about that. The same thing, same way that you watch TV in a commercial that incites you and excites you and implies that whatever product is good and you want to go there and drink it. They're not making you drink, and you still have the decising factor.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be more inclined and more susceptible and think more about it or desire it. But, willpower is, you don't even have to willpower. It's critical thinking is always there.
Yeah, we always have the decision.
Yeah.
The final decision. But, I mean, you're not saying that is just, I mean, that's a show, right? But it's not a lie completely. I mean, the people there, they want to be susceptible to a trance, right?
Yeah,
They want to be there. Yeah, they're willing to be there. So they allow themselves to be there. So
Yeah.
it doesn't mean it works to someone else with other, like, brainwaves, frequency.
we all have those frequencies, yeah. When you're sleeping, you're asking about sleep. So we're in beta brainwave, awakened state, talking, thinking, yeah. When I...
What I mean is, can I resist to be hypnotized?
Of course.
Okay.
A prerequisite to be hypnotized is the willingness.
The willingness. Okay.
Yeah. I've had patients coming to me and not really wanting to participate or saying, that's not going to work, so we don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because hypnosis, going to the trance.
Because they don't want to. So it's never going to work.
Correct.
There's this friend of mine, he's a lawyer, Rosanildo. He has a phobia. I don't know if it even has a name, but he's so scared of frogs that if you post a picture of a frog, you're blocked, like right away. There was an occasion when we were at, I think it's Alcaçuz Lake, near Pium.
Okay.
And like we were family, friends, like 5 cars parked. And then we just have gotten there. And he started running away, got into his car, and
because of the frog.
Drove back home because he found a frog. Like, it's like that. Like, he refuses the party.
Yeah.
Is there a way to change his perspective, like with hypnosis? I heard that is, but I don't know if it's true.
It is true. It's a combination of hypnosis and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is another area that I...
Please come again.
NLP? Neuro-linguistic programming.
Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP.
Yeah. So I use a combination of both. I could use just the NLP, but I think working on both is better. When you have a phobia, what we call phobia is an aversion to anything. Yeah, phobia.
Phobia.
Yeah.
An aversion.
Yeah, you're afraid of. You repel that. You wonder why frogs?
Yeah, why frogs?
He probably had a experience, or there was a frog, or there was a picture, or there was...
Maybe an experience like handling a frog with his hands?
It could be just psychological, really. Like, you not necessarily have to have the physical experience, but he was probably having a hard time emotionally. And when you do so, your mind freezes everything here that is around and finds a reason for you to feel that panic attack, for example. Yeah, so very common. Fear of heights or fear of flying. Maybe your...
Fear of spiders.
Fear of spiders, any fear, yeah? And you congeal whatever you can point your fingers, because the mind wants to settle. The mind wants to find a reason because of the survival that is causing this, so now I can relax. So then you associate, I'm afraid of flying, I'm afraid of the frog.
So how can you help him?
Understanding, it's also questioning if they are aware. What are the first events that they become aware of the fear? Yeah, so sometimes that is easier. Getting to know how the mind operates, explaining just what I told you. It's a way for them to heal. About 30% research shows when you know what you're doing, what the benefits to your body or mind, you don't need to change anything. Okay. Just by knowing, research shows that you improve 30% at least.
I guess you get attention. He gets a lot of attention when he does that show. It was a show. And he put a show.
Yeah, and on the questioning, yeah.
But he used hypnosis for that, right?
No, it's just question.
It's just a conversation.
Just conversation.
Free conversation.
More or less, because part of my study is in neuroscience. I don't let people relive their trauma, tell me their story fully, because to the mind and to the body there is no distinction between a real event that is happening right now and you thinking and telling me the story and having all the emotions. When you tell the story. So every time you relive the event, when you tell a friend, when you telling the story over and over again, like in the talk therapy, your body is reinforcing all the neurological pathways to recruit those emotions more often and more easily. And the body does that because the body is always trying to save energy. So, and there is the very primitive part of the brain. The brain will do anything, even if it's not beneficial to you, to save that energy. So, you know, if you keep thinking about your past, a traumatic event, over and over again, and you go to a therapist and the therapist is giving you tools to change, the body will do everything for you not to think differently, not even a thought, not to act differently, because this is an expenditure of energy to think differently, to stop your willingness to go and feel the same emotion.
And they want to save energy.
The body is primary focus is to keep you alive, and that requires to save the most amount of energy.
Okay.
Even if it's not, you know, emotionally good for you.
Okay.
And we'll do that over and over again. And this part of our nervous system is so powerful that just the willingness to change. And that's why people, you know, if you have friends from high school and from elementary school, when you meet them after 40 years, you'll see that they're pretty much the same person.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true. Yeah. Well, and also that there are benefits, like what you gain from it. We were talking the other day when we first met over coffee, and then I was telling the story that I guess 9 years ago, I don't know, I was struggling to be on a diet and making exercise more often, and then my goal was to get into 10% body fat or below. And then I got there. It was very fast, like 4 weeks. I was 10% body fat.
Wow,
4
that
weeks.
was quick.
Yeah, that was very quick. I was very focused. But I was good on pictures. But people seeing me like in person, they would think I was ill. And I had this whole attention of my mom and my mother-in-law and my grandmother. And I was going to my mom's place, and she was putting food on my plate, and I was going to my in-law Sunday lunch, and then she was putting food on my plate. You have to eat, you're too skinny. And I told myself many times that I've gotten fat again in a couple months.
Sure.
Because I did not have permission to be skinny as I wanted, like as I felt like I should be. But then you brought me a new perspective. You said, well, what you gained from it. And I was trying to guess this and that, and we got to attention, then we got to love. And what is the difference between, I think it's very, very important for us to understand the difference between attention and love. They are very different things, and they are combined, and also they're not. So there are situations where we have to be aware of what is going on and what are we benefiting from it.
Yeah, people are not aware. So I'll take a step back. When we were talking, yeah, you had that preconcept idea that you didn't have permission. And in a sense, you didn't, but you didn't know exactly what, right? And
because that you have the free will.
It's not about free will. And that's where people go so wrong into this. You're not strong enough to keep the weight down. Yeah, it's not about that. Everybody, the reason for each individual will be different. Yeah, and that's why the conversations always combine the talk. So in your case, when you're telling me the story that people, loved ones would come to you and go all the way to
and would feed you,
and
right?
feed you and say, darling,
they never done that before. They never put food on my plate, like the very plate.
Yeah. And that's when it became so clear to me, your gain.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell you. I kept asking you, and remember how difficult it was for you to get there?
Yeah.
You know why? Because everybody does that. You put a reason, then you put another reason here below, and another reason. And to some people, I have to ask 13, 18 questions until they answer something that they really feel. Because otherwise, people will not like me. It's always the same answer. But some people hide it really well. The more you hide, the more difficult for you to become aware. And that's what I did with you. It only took a few minutes, right?
Yeah, so you asked it twice.
Yeah, yours was quick for you. You didn't hide too much. You didn't bury that much. But some people bury a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Why would I?
Because it prevents you from...
Spending energy changing? No?
No. It not prevents you, but it guarantees that you receive the benefit.
Oh my God, this is so powerful. This is so strong.
Yeah.
It's so profound.
Yes.
Yeah, so deep. Well, I didn't want to ask right now, but I have to ask you, how can someone who's watching us right now, how can someone reach you?
They can find me on my Instagram. I have 2 accounts, one in English, one in Portuguese. So it's cavalari.fernanda.
Okay.
And the other one is cavalari.fernanda.br.
Okay.
And on my website as well. At the moment, it's cavalaritherapy.com. And there you have my WhatsApp, my email. You can reach me there.
You can book an appointment, right? So it's possible for someone to be treated online as well.
Absolutely. I do it all the time. I did this
That's what
morning.
you do.
That's how I do, actually. I did this morning. And I have lots of appointments.
Well, I follow you on Instagram, so that's, sometimes I see you somewhere and then you're somewhere else, like you're in Brasilia, which is the capital of Brazil, and then you're in Natal, then you're in Australia. So that's why you like always anywhere. You can treat a patient from anywhere.
From anywhere. I have patients several parts of the world. Of course, not with the acupuncture, but I can see their medical records and I have a bit of an idea because of how we diagnose people, as I explained to you before. But the whole therapy and hypnotherapy is absolutely, I can do it over, because all you need to do is to follow instructions to the best of your abilities. So when you do hypnosis, I don't do anything to them. They do the hypnosis themselves. It's an invitation, it's a guidance to imagine a few things. I assist them in how to get to that feeling, to get to the trance. But the only way I would have any power over them, answering your question about the free will as well, yeah? The only way I would have control of you if it was my entire nervous system connected to yours. Obviously, it's not.
Okay.
It's an invitation. So it doesn't matter if I'm with you and if you're across the world doing a Zoom call, yeah? You would close your eyes anyhow. You don't need to keep looking at me. So if I'm right here with you and you're not following instructions, nothing will happen.
Yes. Yeah. The first thing to allow us to have success is the will, right? I have to be willing.
Yeah,
to be treated.
Yeah. Even when you go to a medical doctor, sometimes you go because the family puts pressure on you or you're too much pain, but you're not really willing to heal, because behind every disease there is a series of benefits as well. And I've met people that they know why they developed cancer, why they developed whatever disease, yeah.
So this is totally something else. You are referring that it could be some emotional trauma, some psychological root for cancer?
Yes. Another area, German New Medicine talks about that really well. But hypnosis too, all these things that I work with, all this training that I chose, it always keeps coming back to how the perception of your world affects your physiology. The new German medicine, the Chinese medicine, the hypnosis, the therapy, the neurolinguistic programming. And I prove to you right now, we do all the time. You can be sitting right here. Just by thought alone, you create stress, you raise your cortisol level, your testosterone level, your adrenaline. You pump blood to extremities just by sitting here.
Maybe my thoughts?
Yeah, don't you do that? We all do that.
I guess so.
I have to pay that bill. Just by thought, you're creating stress. You can also create a disease, but the great thing is, I just wonder that you can also heal yourself, right? If you
I
can.
wonder.
Actually, I am sure.
I mean, you're the expert, right? Yes, I have to ask.
Yeah. And if you're able to create disease by thought, you can also heal by thought. But how?
It makes total sense.
Yeah, it's the how. The most sought up question on the internet is how. How? How do I do this? How do I bake that? How do I lose weight? How do I get happy? How do I make my partner happier? How do I become successful? How do I make money? How do I lose weight? How? And that's where I assist people with the techniques.
Help and relax. That's the cure.
One of the many things. But it's not just about relaxation. It's when you do hypnosis, because of a few different styles that I use, you would get out of the session relaxed for sure. Yeah? We do very specific things there. It's not just go and relax. Yeah? But it's assisting you in changing the way you think, because we are a set of programs. What is that? Everything that you think of, your concepts about everything in life, how you should talk to someone, the pacing of your voice, the loudness of your voice, what do you think about money, what do you think about having a house, or how you think about a partner, relationships, friendships, how you should walk, how you should behave, everything. So all these ideas, I call them programs, because we are programmed since a very young age. And we don't really receive the best programs because nobody is working on their behavior. This is a new happening in human history, where a lot of people are having therapy and wanting to give life a different direction. But your parents and their parents, they all just lived life, and they carried on the traumas and passed on to you. I'll explain that better. So if you have parents that are very afraid, very secure of money, always think, money doesn't go in trees, and, you have to work hard for money and save at all costs, because what if money doesn't come? You learn that.
Yeah.
And you are in a very deep state of hypnosis up to the age of 7, and you can confirm that with ancient scriptures. Bible says, give me a child and I return you with a man after 7 years. Yeah, because they knew. So the kid is in different states of that brainwave that we were talking about before. And when you're in those states, you're very susceptible. So when you see mom and dad talking about money and word, you learn that. You have no critical thinking when you're a kid. When the kids start to get closer to the age of 7, they start having a personality that we say, right? Oh, is he starting to have a personality? They're starting to have critical thinking. And get to an age, young age, or as an adult, and you look back at how your parents related to one another, you say, I don't really like how my dad treats my mom and how they really speak to one another. But yet you kind of a slave to that learning, because it's like those programs are like the software, the operating system. And only if you upgrade the operating system, then you can change how you behave. And I'll give you an example to make that very clear. So let's say the dad was always rude to the mom and very short in the answers. And most likely you learn that. So when you get to the critical thinking phase when you're an adult and you start having your relationships and you keep doing the same as your dad did. And you say, I want to change that. But you were unable to.
Yeah.
Just the willingness to change does not make you change. Again,
Absolutely.
you're here, you want to get here, and you need to know what you're doing to get here. And sometimes I go to a week-long seminar to learn a couple of tiny little details that make a whole bunch of a difference in the outcome of the patient.
Okay. Well, we have a pre-consultation here, right?
Absolutely.
it, Mirroring behaviors or learning behaviors from our parents. There is this thing that I've always wanted to have, like a setup of 2 screens on my living room to work. I love working, like standing up.
Yeah.
I have one of those standing desks that you press the button and then there's an engine that it goes up and down. It's very expensive, very fancy, and I got one of those in the pandemic. But I don't have space for it because I have built a bar and a stand of books, like a bookshelf.
Yeah.
Like a big one, like an entire wall. And I didn't realize I don't drink. So why do I make a bar in my living room? So my father was an alcoholic and my mom loved to read. So I don't like reading. I'm of an era where I have audiobooks. So I'm the guy from audiobooks. I have no prejudice. If you say you read something and said, oh, but you heard something. Mm-hmm. I don't have that because we have the blind people. That's the only way. Sometimes is listening to a book, right? And why? I mean, we have examples we don't follow, which is to drink alcohol. So I learned what not to do. But I did not because I built in my living room a bar.
Unconscious behaviors.
Yeah. It makes total sense.
So you went, planned, and got probably an architect or something to design on that, and you're completely oblivious. And you know what? A lot of amazing, really well done research shows, and this is unrefutable. 95 to 98% of who you are is a set of unconscious behaviors. We have about 50 to 70,000 thoughts in a day, and about 90-something% of those thoughts are a repetition of the previous day. So we do change very, very little. Yeah. And we are so unconscious of the thoughts, the feelings that we are having. And, when you look back to 20 years of your life and you say, what have I done? Yeah, because we live in the automation, and the body is amazing in automating, making this automation, again, to save energy. It does not want you to change. So doing hypnosis the purpose is for you to become aware. You become more aware. What is that? You become more aware that when, the way my friend or my partner talks to me, actually it's not very nice. But before, you were so after the loving and being so blinded that you didn't really notice that. When you do hypnosis, you become more aware of your feelings. Your mind quiets down. And those 70,000 thoughts, that's the average in a day. I seem to have very few of them because I've done so many thousand sessions of hypnosis, many, many thousands. My head is so much more clearly. You know the Matrix movie where you have those dots in space and you can connect the dots and make sense of things? And that's me now. So you become more aware of people's energy. If you like them, if you dislike them, if you should close that business deal. In fact, I think it was Warren Buffett when they asked him about money, and instead of him, what you should know more about money, he doesn't go into knowing the mathematics, knowing the finances, but becoming aware of, your feelings and your perceptions, your intuition. One of the richest men in history.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what you should become aware when dealing with money. So just to show you how powerful these things are, like your example of the drinking, you become that slave because this program is running on the background and you're not aware of it. So generally people either repeat it or repel it so much that they would do everything not to be like their mom or their dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they become this super no drinking, super strict diet, exercise, whatever. It's how it manifested is different for every person. But you are a slave of those behaviors, and that's how it is. But fortunately, we know what to do to change, and it does require repetition. It requires focus. It requires this combination that I think works the best. This recipe of combining the hypnosis, making you more aware, opening up possibilities with conscious tools. You combine those two when you have your best outcome. When I was telling you about the flight or freeze mode, but when you get out of that state, now you see possibilities where before you didn't see. You always go to the worst possible situation because your life is by a second of being taken away. So you don't run possibilities, yeah? But when you get out of that state, now you have possibilities. Now you believe. Now you have the tranquility to go and sleep. And that's one of the many reasons I specialize in sleep and stress. And people always ask me, how do you sleep well? Well, it depends on what you do during the day as well. Yeah? What you do, how you behave, how you feel during the day affects of how you're going to sleep at night. It's not just about the last 2 hours prior to the sleep. So if you are running stress for prolonged periods in your day, you have a whole amount of cortisol, testosterone, adrenaline, and you're running from the predator, so it's no time to sleep.
Yeah.
Hence, many people stay awake. Generally, on the 3 a.m. mark is classical for that.
Yeah, it's different when you take a while to get to sleep, or when you wake up and then you cannot sleep anymore. Because that's me, right? I go to sleep very fast. I can sleep very fast, but then I wake up at some point, like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and I cannot sleep anymore. About the bar thing,
Yeah.
there was a moment when I realized what I just have done, and I was so mad. So I was just asking myself, why did I do that? Like I was asking my husband, why did we do that? Why did we hire someone to design a bar that we're never going to use just to mirror some behavior? About that behavior, is it possible to get help if someone is willing to get help with hypnosis to stop drinking, to stop alcohol addiction?
Absolutely. It's the story of everybody is different, yeah. Why they do what they do, yeah. It's a combination of learned behavior, like you saw your parents doing that.
My father only.
Yeah. But your mom did the reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes a way to get the love, yeah, because rapport is something very important and it's very used especially in sales. So if you're like me, so we try to have rapport with everybody because if I'm like you, I'm more inclined to like you. So if you never see...
We want to connect all the time.
Yeah, but there is specific ways. What is that connect? Explain. You never really see a 7-year-old best friends with a 70-year-old man because we all want alike. You never see a street person being best friends with a millionaire. Yeah? You never see someone that likes to party until very late at night with someone that likes to wake up super early in the morning and exercise. So we're always looking for alikes because it's easier. You combine better. You have this rapport happens a lot better. So rapport is, if you're here with him like that, I can do that intentionally or not. Since I'm trained into that, I can create the rapport and imitate your.
I can do this with my arms and then do it.
Yeah.
And you do the same thing just to mirror me, right?
Yeah, and I talk the same speed that you. I can start copying, sync my breathing with you, and eventually, I will start making different, and you start to follow me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And you think we're so much alike, and you don't realize why.
Then I do that again, also because you just did that. You link to the table.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
But you building that bar, part of that intention to be loved, perhaps, I would only give you a clear answer if I ask you a few more questions. But one is learned behavior for sure. Yeah, perhaps they said it's fancy, and it's a bunch of programs. Then you do that, but because you're unconscious, you just built.
Yeah, it was totally unconscious. Yeah, that's how I was at that time.
And with the addiction, there is a very different part that I do, which I apply a lot of the quantum physics to it in the addictions. Yeah, addiction is anything that you do that you found the most effective way to fulfill a lot of your needs. And we are all addicted to something.
Yeah.
I love coffee, and I'm addicted to coffee.
I love sugar.
Yeah. But it's if you're addicted to the alcohol, with one single activity, you fulfill a lot of your needs. That's my definition of addiction. So I go there, and this is a process with a lot of questions. It's not hypnosis involved. We find all the benefits that you get from that one action, and lots of them. And then we create a lot of strategies. How could you get the same benefit doing another activity? And once you start seeing that, you suddenly have opened up all these possibilities that you didn't see before with the understanding how you operate. Yeah? It's one of the many ways that you can start this journey to drinking less, or whatever you call addiction, having less sex addiction or sugar addiction. Yeah? Combined with your physical body, giving that support.
Yeah, I would love to have you here another time to talk about two addictions. It's social media and pornography. I guess they are very linked because there is this thing in the phone, like people have a screen all the time. They are scrolling,
yeah.
Right? So, but before I can remember that you told me that you became aware of one of your behavior.
Oh, yes.
There. But before we go to that, because I guess we get into the end of the podcast, but
yeah.
I want to save that for the end, right? The next steps. To the very end, to share one thing about your next steps in your personal life. I mean, a lot more than that, right? Because we are still in the free consultation. And I've crossed a process of grief the last June. It was June the 6th when I heard that I lost a friend, a very dear friend. And we were friends since kindergarten, was preschool. Like he was 35, I guess. I was 37. And we were friends since 5 years old.
Yeah.
And he took his life. And I had just met him at the gym. He was a personal trainer. And he was so happy. He was so happy. He was so handsome and well-shaped. And he had a hair transplant twice. So he was very, very hairy. I don't know, like in the height. When you have like a lion with the...
Yeah, the mane.
The mane,
lion.
Right? Lion mane, right. Yeah. Sorry, it's the language barriers will not stop me today. He had his teeth done. He had his nose done.
Yeah.
In the past years. He was a nurse at the hospital, and then he decided to change the career.
Sure.
So he switched career. So he was apparently doing what he wanted to do. And what happened? When I knew that, I was totally dysfunctional. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get out of bed. Thinking, what could I have done? Why didn't he tell me what he was going through? And I lost clients, and I lost when and in the very second day when I knew about the event, I was not wanting to get out of bed, and then my husband was like, "You don't have to think about that. It's useless." And then I was like, "No. We have to calm down here. We don't have a solution for that. We don't have that. So there's no solution that you could possibly offer. The only thing I need maybe it's a hug, maybe it's a comfort or a shoulder, right?" And then he said that, "Well, I cannot do that." We have this very, I would say, cold dialogue relationship, which I love because we can like calm down and just talk over a subject.
Sure.
And then he says, "Okay, so I think you should get help." And then I have this conscious. I was totally aware I was not okay, and so I decided to go to therapy. I did 4 sessions in 1 week, like was almost every day. And then I scheduled with my psychiatrist, and I was exercising like every day, like going like on the stairway of my condo, like it's a 20-floor building, like 6 times, because I wanted to have endorphin, right? I wanted to spend energy, and I was like 99% feeling well in 2 weeks. So it took me 14 days, and I think I was fast. I think there are people who spend a lot more time grieving.
Yeah.
Right. But then we had a conversation. We had a talk. You and me.
Yeah.
And then you say, "Why did it take you so long? Why didn't you come to me? Because we could have gone through that like in a couple hours. But you never told me."
How? On the most sought up question.
No, it's okay. I'm okay right now. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. But I mean, I guess I was in the 3rd stage because I was in my birthday, my anniversary. 40 days later, and then I was already wanting to make a party because I was negotiating. Like, if he was here, he would want to see me drinking or having fun, right? So I was starting to negotiate with his death.
Yeah.
Right? So I think I was going through the path. Okay. But how is it possible to overcome grief with hypnosis, with your help?
With the quantum physics side, because I do different stuff. So this one is a series of questions, about 4 questions. When you're grieving someone, either because they passed away or you split up from someone, you're missing them. But you don't miss the bad stuff, do you?
No, we don't.
So you're seeing only one side. So let me explain. I have to explain a little bit of the 2 sides. The quantum physics of this. Putting very simply, quantum physics, you have 2 sides. They are complementary opposites. They don't exist without the other. So when one is high, the other is low, the other side. Yeah. So when you meet someone, you're only seeing the upsides and you're not seeing the downsides of them. And culturally, we learn that when someone dies, we go into grieving and we praise all of their qualities. So we become blinded to the other side. And how do I apply quantum physics to this work? Well, when you have a thought, when you have an emotion, you have a series of electromagnetic fields that are produced by having a thought. You have a whole bunch of chemicals that happen for you to have a thought. You cannot have a thought if you don't have things running in your body, neurotransmitters or an exchange of atoms and molecules. Hence, a behavior follows the rules of physics. And in physics, we have this part of physics that we call quantum physics, that everything has two sides, they're complementary opposites. One side does not exist without the other. So everything that we are able to measure, that we can understand by mathematical equations, everything that we can study, we don't see only one side. We have no light without darkness. You have no repulsion without attraction.
Yeah.
There is no good without being stingy. Yeah. There is not giving without being, without taking. And that's how it applies to the human behavior, and you cannot escape that. Yeah. When I was my third patient going through rape, I was very intrigued. Why do they feel so guilty? Because none of them ever told me I was wearing provocative clothing or, I was provoking something. There was never, ever any of those comments, yet they felt so guilty. And then when it clicked to me, while they're having a horrible experience here, their mind went into La La Land, went into a fantasy. You cannot escape this. Yeah. And that's how we treat the grief. You're only seeing one side, and you're forgetting about the other side.
That's exactly what I felt. I was feeling completely guilty. At first, I thought that he was my hero. Mm-hmm. That he did something I have no courage to do, which is like jumping out of a cliff. That's what I thought. And then when I go to therapy, she asks me, have you ever thought about it like as your first option? And I said, never. I said, why? Because I love my nephews, I love my family. I would never, ever want to have someone that I love telling someone else that, oh, I have Romulo who did that, who was suicided. I don't want that. I don't want them to feel that. I mean, I have the loved ones around me. That's what I said at that moment. And so I don't think that's the feeling. And then we got to guilt.
Yeah.
Because I was, for the first time of my life, maybe, being honest in therapy, which is awful because I spent so many years and so much money doing therapy, but hiding something, always hiding. It's okay, I choose. I like what I say. And what happened is that I never liked him. That's what I thought.
Your hero.
Yeah, I'm a hero. Like, he was very clumsy. That kid who was he was gay, just like me, but he was the gayest.
Sure.
Right? But I've been telling about a kid with 7 years old.
Sure.
6 years old, and he was very he was provocative, and then he would provoke the other boys, and they would beat the hell out of him. So all the time he was on the floor, like on the earth, or covered in dust, because he was always beaten up at school, but I never defended him. So that comes guilt. And then I see him like 20 years old, 25 years old at a pub. And then when he got there, I was not his friend. I would leave the place because he was making a show, like me and that girly guy, right? Yeah. And I said, at a point that he came, and then we were at a party, and then he came to talk to me, and we had this conversation. He had like lost, I guess, 15 pounds, maybe. Like, he was totally different person. He was like 100 kilos, and then he was like 70, 60, and he was totally different. And then I said, he was like all the time calling for drinks. Let's go to have a drink. And I said, hey, stop it. If you call me to go to a gym, or if you call me to go to a walk, or if you call me to go to outside to go out running, I'll come with you, but I'm not going to a bar with you. And then he said, that's it. I want to invite you to go to a gym, like on a Sunday in the morning.
True.
And then we started this friendship, like about and then it lasted for 10 years, right? So about the last 10 years, like we had this friendship, and he changed who he was. And I don't know, that's what I felt, I guess, guilt, because I was not that protective for him when he was a kid.
Yep.
We were just kids. We were just in the system. That was the system. It's not my fault, right?
You know that rationally, but your body does not
Yeah, exactly.
concur.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So when we spoke,
That's why I was like not functioning.
yeah, when we spoke, I thought you were grieving him. You probably were as well, but you brought new information to them today. Yeah, that you were feeling all this guilt.
Yeah, I mean, there is one more detail. I was talking to my psychiatrist, and I said I didn't like him. I didn't like him. I don't know why I am feeling this, because I didn't like him. He was always putting a show everywhere. I don't like that. So why do I feel that? What is it that I feel?
What do you lose by him being on the spotlight?
I mean, I lose the spotlight.
Exactly.
That's his very answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're gaining something from that as well, for not being on the spotlight. What are you gaining?
Attention, maybe from someone else who's more like me.
How's that? Explain.
I don't know.
Are you playing the victim, and is that a program that you run, being left out?
That's a new perspective.
Yeah, perhaps. Because the body, remember, the body will try to keep you doing whatever you're doing.
Maybe because he was allowed to be gay in the 90s, where no one were, where we had no reference of like another gay.
Yeah.
No, they all die.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. They don't go to heaven. They don't get to live after
Were you
30 years.
jealous of him?
What's that?
Were you jealous of him?
Absolutely.
Only getting
That's for sure. No, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was totally jealous of anyone who was allowed to be gay.
But you were wondering why you got so upset.
Yeah. Because I didn't like him at all. But now he's my hero. So where does it
He was not your hero back then.
No.
Only after he died.
Yeah.
I see. Well, you were maintaining your status quo. We are also addicted to being victim, to not being on the spotlight, because how you feel by not being on the spotlight, you're having benefits out of that. Yeah?
I mean, that's the grace of all of it. I mean, of all the power of your transformation, or of what you offer, because you bring up light to everything we're not aware of. Like I talk to you like 5 minutes, and then I always learn like 10 years about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So we will have a conversation later, maybe, because we are going too deep here.
Yeah.
And we have like no much time left. So, what was that you told me? I mean, you were losing something or getting something. I don't remember. It was about business, maybe.
Oh, my personal thing. Yes. I've been in Brazil for, it's going to be 3 years here. And I have very little business here. So I always kept saying...
I mean, all your patients are from abroad. All your patients, 100%.
Almost 100%.
Because now you got a Brazilian maybe. But back then when we talked first, you said you didn't have any patients in Brazil.
Yeah, but sometimes they come and, they do a few treatments. But yeah, they're all...
But it's not usual to have Brazilian patients.
No. So they're all from overseas, different countries. And I always kept using the excuse. I don't know how to deal with Brazilian because I haven't really lived here in my professional life. I don't understand the market. Maybe I'm too different. They exclude me. And then it came to me, what am I gaining from this? And that's when, bang, I am getting the attention because my loved ones are always giving me ideas. Why don't you set up a consult room here, put your name? Why don't you do this? Talk to this person.
Open a schedule. Talk to this. Create content.
Yes, and you're
launch
helping me.
yourself.
Yeah, you gave me lots of attention as well, right?
all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
When we did your visual identity, I was like, you were I don't like this trace. I like this dot.
Yeah.
I like this comma. And I was asking myself, what is she waiting for? Why? Okay, I can correct all of those little dots, but why hasn't she launched herself already?
Because I was gaining
Is
something.
that enough?
I was gaining the attention from my loved ones. When someone sees you,
Even from me, right? Because I was all the time. Well, when are we creating content for you? People to get to know you, because it's so powerful.
yeah, so you hide really well, like as in we hide really well. So I was so focused on the technicality, and your body creates all these excuses, hides so well that you cannot really see. But when I saw that and I shared my experience that I was getting attention, hence being loved, yeah. And when, even though I don't know you too well, you're not in my friendship or family circle, that inner circle, that good friends. But guess what? When you call me, I feel so loved because Home is thinking about me and giving me ideas and incentivizing me.
He wants me to be successful.
Yeah. And then I create all things and situations, not to go there because here I have more gain than having all the patients here. Then when I get all the patients here that I want to have here, then I lose all the attention.
Okay.
So you see how these programs are super powerful. I am in the field. I work with this. And sometimes we miss. I don't miss many things, but this one I missed big time.
Okay, so what are the next steps?
Of this?
Yeah.
The awareness already is a step. Since we met, I got so many more clients. Did I do something? I changed my vibrational frequency. We all have this electromagnetic field around us. When, just by knowing, as I said, when you know something, when you book a doctor, it can be like a public doctor as in a public service. The research shows that you get at least 30 to 33% better just by making the booking. You're going to go there, 5-minute consultation, but prior to the consultation, you already improve. And I did improve. And do you think that it was by chance? No, I met someone amazing that I'm dating now.
Yeah, you're dating.
And I have so many clients all of a sudden. And that's the only significant thing I've done. I contacted some people because I do teach courses, and that went really well. Some networking. So you become inspired. You automatically start doing things just by that awareness. I haven't done anything beside that. So it's just really, really powerful, the insights. And you can get even more amazing results when you combine more changes.
Fantastic. I mean, yeah. So you're dating after we had that coffee?
Yeah, and for how long I have been single?
No.
3.5 years.
Wow.
It's a long time.
So it's one thought that you had.
One awareness.
One awareness.
That's right.
That brought you here to a new state of mind where we're even dating.
Not with anybody because I'm very selective.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for you because I was given a compliment because she was very beautiful today. She came here, but she's not single. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry guys. Please to choose.
Yeah, Well, thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the transformation that you offer to the world, right?
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Yeah, so thank you to accompanying us today in this podcast with Fernanda Cavalari, Chinese doctor, right?
Yeah.
Chinese doctor. And this is the Blue Pro podcast. Here we are talking about medicine, health, and a lot of inspiring stories. So I hope that today you can go after your dreams, right? With this story. Thank you.